Hey, welcome to Reviews on the Run. Today we've got monsters, aliens, and maybe one of the biggest verses ever.
I'd say the biggest.
Today on Reviews on the Run, Jose and I are taking a look at Monster Lab, Alone in the Dark Inferno, Destroy All Humans, Path of the Furon, and it versus its Resistance 2 against Gears of War 2.
We gotta get the hell out of here!
All right, we're going to get started talking about Monster Lab. This is Jose Fubar Sanchez. If you don't know that, then you're missing out.
Daily.
One of the best shows on TV.
It's probably the best.
It probably is the best show on TV.
It's the
We
greatest.
can say that because we're completely impartial.
I know.
And we're reviewers.
So
I'm
I'm reviewing the show. I give EP Daily 10 out of 10.
I love EP Daily. It's a great show.
Can we get a graphic 10 out of 10?
Anyways, we're talking about
What do you
video
give EP
games.
Daily?
I'm going to give it a 10. I
Awesome.
think maybe a 10.5.
10.5 for me,
Yeah.
too.
All
I'm right there with you.
There you go. Okay, so we're talking about Monster Lab. That was gross, by the way. We're talking about Monster Lab, and this is a made-in-Vancouver game from Backbone Entertainment for the Wii, and it is an original IP.
It is.
It's
like-
not. It hasn't been made before. It hasn't been, copied off of some TV show
This is
or.
an actual game
Yeah.
somebody thought about, created, didn't port.
And it's ambitious,
It is.
and it's clever, and it's got some charm,
got some
and it's
wit.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
And it's got a kind of cool Tim Burton-esque style to it, and the characters look cool. And you
And-
can make your own stuff.
You can make
Lots
your
of
own
it.
monsters.
Like 150 million variations of
It's
monsters.
crazy.
You can have 10 different ones. Basically, that's the whole concept. You build monsters
It's
in
like
your lab.
Pokemon with robots.
Yes. Or they can be organic matter
Yeah, or
kind of
alchemic.
magical, kind of goopy
Yeah,
stuff.
and they all like counterbalance each other, biological guys.
Yeah, and then you basically take your monsters out and you go and fight with other monsters.
You have to clear the town and stop the evil count from taking over.
You're part of the Mad Science Alliance,
Yeah,
which I think,
the MSA.
which, dude, the Mad Science Alliance. That's like
brilliant.
that should be a TV show.
It should be.
Right there,
Just a
the
whole
Mad
bunch of different-
Science Alliance,
and
right
with a
there.
whole bunch of different Monster Lab created characters.
I love it. So yeah, there's online play in this
Yeah.
sucker as well. I got online, didn't see anybody playing it. I think that's the challenge with this is that it's so fresh, it freaks people out. Nobody takes
What
a
games are
risk.
people playing online on the Wii?
There are occasionally. Tiger Woods was being played online. I remember
Well, you
reviewing
got your
that.
Mario Kart and
And
Smash
Madden.
Bros, but-
Developers have got to, if they build the server functionality and the back-end stuff, they also have to add in that extra support to make sure people are engaged
That's
and
how
playing.
you keep the people playing online.
Absolutely. And it's got a clever little story. It is like Tim Burton kind of put his fingers in
You
the
got-
mix in there.
you got
And
your-
I like the art style. I like
Dr. Fuseless.
Dr. Fuseless, yeah.
Mr.
It's a little bit cumbersome trying to figure out where to go in the castle and the...
I mean, because the game's set up like you have your castle.
Yeah.
And you can go create your monsters or open up different monsters to go out into the
Yeah.
world.
And there's like a whole database system, and you can save in the safe.
And then you have to create your own parts. You get all these. There's up to I think 80 different ingredients that
Yeah.
you get. And you can mix match them and create like different parts. There's some that are good, and some that'll kind of hinder you and slow you down a little bit. But
and then there's a bit of like a board game kind of overmap that you walk around.
It's like a Mario Party.
A little bit, yeah. And then
But
you
you
see the other
control it.
monsters that you
Yeah.
could fight, and you can avoid them if you don't want to fight them.
And there's mini games, and like the
Yeah.
way you create your parts is you pick the ingredients you want,
welding.
and then you have to weld them with
Yeah.
your remote, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is all right.
It doesn't take super
No.
It's not making you're not flailing.
As a game, it's okay, but because it's such a clever design and there is so much kind of free-form functionality and customization option in there,
Yeah.
I think you got to give it some extra marks for that.
Oh, and I do. You know what else I give it extra marks for?
What?
Voiceovers.
The voice that's really funny.
The Mad Science Alliance wants you!
It's that same level of commitment to coming up with something original that we saw in De Blob and World of Goo. And frankly, as a gamer and as just like a pure video game escapism, it's more kind of clever kind of development than we're seeing out of Nintendo right now.
Yeah, and good for them. Good on
Which
you,
is
Backbone.
great, but it's like, where is Nintendo's
it's like they're putting the
investment
Backbone in Wii
into this
games.
kind of stuff? I
Yeah.
know.
It's like they're what are you gonna do?
I mean, I don't want to play Wii Music. I want to play Monster.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just not categorized as the same.
Yeah, I know. All right, so I'm giving Monster Lab 7.5. I think it's a very solid game. What about you?
I concur with you, sir. 7.5.
Well, there you go.
It's right there on my notes.
I've been playing the new international track and field from Konami for the DS, and what really they've done here is they've taken all of these old, kinds of events that we've played with button mashing and joystick wiggling, and they've converted it to stylus on the touchpad scratching, so you pretty much destroy your DS while you play in the game. And then they've converted all the characters from 2D sprite-based characters that run on a 2D plane to 3D polygonal characters that are all based on well, they're racial stereotypes. So if any of that stuff offends you, that'll probably offend you in this game. It is fun. It does feel a little bit like you're getting repetitive stress syndrome, and the only person I've ever known that's been any good at track and field games in my life has been Tommy. I don't know what that guy's got, double joints or something like that, but he can deal with this stuff. All in all, it's pretty decent if you like this stuff. It's not especially new, as the title suggests, but new international track and field, not the worst track and field game I've ever played. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Stick around. We're coming right back with a look at Alone in the Dark again. Hey, I've been playing Brothers in Arms Hour of Heroes on the iPhone. It's developed by Gameloft, and Gameloft is a master of making 3D gaming on the mobile platforms, and they moved over seamlessly to the iPhone. They've got a number of really good-looking games out there for this machine, and Brothers in Arms Hour of Heroes is definitely one of them. It's very ambitious in scope, and there's a lot of variety in the action, not only controlling soldiers, but you're also jumping behind the wheel of tanks and jeeps. You've got all kinds of different weapons to take advantage of, and you can blow up Nazis left, right, and center. You're fighting in Normandy, you're fighting in Africa, you're fighting in Germany. It's a little too ambitious, though, because you do take some frame rate hits, and the control is something that you're going to be struggling with the entire way. But it's decent stuff. It's good shooter gameplay, pick up and play kind of style on your phone or on your iPod Touch. I'm definitely going to recommend this one. It's not the best Brothers in Arms you can play for sure, but it is good, portable, Nazi-killing fun. Brothers in Arms Hour of Heroes, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Welcome back. We're just waiting here for some photographers to find us and take pictures.
I can't help it that I'm really, 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 really ridiculously good looking.
Yeah, you really are ridiculous. All right, we're talking about Alone in the Dark Inferno.
Yes,
this is
as if one review of this game wasn't bad enough. Let's do it again.
This is Eden Games. It's the same Eden Games that made the last Alone in the Dark
That's
game.
clever.
And it was...
Except it's a different console.
It's a different console than the PS3. It's PS3 exclusive this time. And what they've done is they've been given a second chance by Atari. They basically had a little bit more time to kind of tweak and polish. They took the unbelievable amount of critical lots
disaster?
of drama, lots of disaster all over the world. They took all that feedback, all the gamers that bought the 360 game. They sent them some feedback and notes, and they took all those notes and they said,
you know what? We're going to put the game on the PS3. We're going to call it Inferno.
Yeah.
We're going to try to fix some of these things.
You know what, though? That's been the marketing decision here, though.
Squared up on me?
Everybody knows. You want to go?
You want to go?
You want to go? Anyways, they've taken all of the feedback to heart, and I actually dig this, that they actually tried to make a difference here with the second one.
I think it's kind of lame.
But you know what? We both thought when we reviewed the last game that it was getting too much hate, that it was better, maybe too ambitious and maybe lots of problems with it, but it was still offering some kind of cool stuff. That cool stuff is still here.
Yeah.
And it's a little easier to control. The driving's a little bit better. So you have a manual camera control now, so it's a little bit easier to kind of manipulate your character. Well, you know what? I mean,
you can move your camera. State-of-the-art technology.
It makes the game more playable. Come on, tell me it wasn't a little bit more playable.
Dude, you went through this game like a monster.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
I
you
ripped through it.
Work.
Fire is because you want to tell them why?
Oh, yeah, because you can pick any point in the game to start off at.
Yeah. They went with this episode. It's like it's a downloadable game, but it's all
previously.
It's all on your disc.
Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, there are some multiple choices and some decisions to be made. Some morality kind of
the characters
things
still
that play.
Look all super cake-faced.
They do look a little gorked, absolutely. But
gorked. I mean, I've never even heard of that word.
That's
but that's
a great
what
word,
they
isn't
look
it?
like.
They look gorked, don't they?
My God.
As bad as they kind of look in-game, and there's some real-time render problems and issues, and some of the characters look really weird, but when they do the recap videos and they cut to these really dithered and low-res, they look horrible.
They look like a YouTube claymation video that somebody made of their favorite.
PlayStation 3, man. Yeah, Blu-ray. Where's the high def? Where's the clarity? Where's the beauty?
Taking advantage of that Blu-ray disc. Yeah. It's not happening.
I still love the buildings falling apart and people falling and there's climbing and stuff like that.
Compromise.
And killing everybody with the fire actually works. You can throw gas up into the air and shoot it and explode stuff.
I mean, all the stuff you could do in the 360.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's all there.
It plays better. It looks about the same, I think. It's
I don't know how
okay,
much,
man.
but I mean, it's all right. I just, for what was being said about this game and all the cool tech that was supposed to be a part of this game,
We were
I felt
expecting a
they
lot
could
more.
have. I mean, if you're going to take the time to wait till you release a game on a console as powerful as the PS3, I want to see some super like
Make it amazing.
What the hell did you guys like? I want to play a whole different game.
Did you like this better than Siren Blood Curse?
Ooh, I don't know. I had fun with Siren. I mean, it was, you know what you're getting.
Siren's cheaper too. So what are you going to give Alone in the Dark Inferno?
6.5.
6.5 from me as well. After the break, we're taking a look at Destroy All Humans, Path of the Furon. Hey, welcome back to Reviews on the Run. Jose and I have been enjoying some time beside a big truck.
Yeah, it's Optimus Prime.
That's not weird. All right, we're talking about Destroy All Humans, Path of the Furon. This is
The third Destroy All Humans.
It's the third official Destroy All Humans. There's been other versions of the game. There was that Wii one that sucked.
Yeah?
And apparently THQ has given up all hope.
All hope.
Yeah, and all
this
faith
game?
in this franchise because
It looks like a GameCube game.
this is
funny that-
balls. This is just terrible. I cannot believe Pandemic in Australia made the first couple, and they were very good games for the PS2 and the Xbox One, and they were super funny, and they had cool tech, and now we're in this age of open world games like Grand Theft Auto 4 and Mercenaries 2 and even Saints Row 2, and this is what they deliver?
Just not exciting anymore.
No.
It's like, let's just release the same game with the same Jack Nicholson crypto.
Yes.
And we'll just
The
we'll give
engine
them the
is
same.
broken. I mean, let's just face it. I mean, there's pop-in, there's just
There's tons of pop.
not very cool textures on anything on the human
There's
characters.
like
Lots of
different,
repeated
and
human
there's like
characters.
the same characters over and over again.
And the phrasing is repeated over and over again. Obviously, what they've done here is they've taken crypto and his kind of comedy and moved it into the 70s. So they set it in the in Vegas, and he has to deal with mobsters, and then he goes into this fake Hollywood thing. And
Sunnywood.
Sunnywood, there you
Where
go.
you run into a guy who he calls Jack,
Yeah.
who he takes over his body and
Yeah.
uses his voice, and it's like Jack Nicholson.
Because he sounds like Jack Nicholson.
And then he
You
like,
get it?
and then he says like, his voice is so annoying.
Right.
Oh my God.
Basically, you're trying to get to this leader of this new kind of cult, it's called alienology.
Yeah.
And so obviously take on,
Alientologists?
the Scientologists and all that stuff.
I know.
I mean, it's cute, and they spent the money on the voice acting, and there's a script and a story in there, but the game is broken. It's just
it looks
unfun
like a
to
broke
play, man.
GameCube game.
I know. I
And
mean,
it gets real tiresome.
the
real soon.
faces of the gangsters when you're talking to those guys right at the top there, it's just so horrible. It used to be
He's
funny.
little Nicholson.
But you know,
little Betty, a little
even the
trooper.
second one. I remember Tommy and I reviewed the second one. We played the game, and even the second one felt like it was, wearing out its welcome a little bit.
Yeah.
And by this time, it's just like
it's like
not
they put no effort into it. That's what I feel like. After
Yeah.
you play the game, it's like the backgrounds are all very PlayStation 2, GameCube-like.
I mean, the ridiculous ceiling on the UFO.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean,
It's a
seriously.
UFO.
You fly anywhere you want.
I want to spore out. I want to
Yeah.
go all the way out to the world.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. You have
Yeah.
a certain amount. You get your death ray. You get your sucking up powers. You get your
There's a
you got your
black
anal
hole
probe
gun.
guns, which
Disgusting.
Ain't no probe. I'm gonna beat you back to Bay City. Forget about it.
I don't think this is anybody's game. I think this is
someone's game.
This is a disgrace.
Someone's gonna buy it.
This is a disgrace. THQ's obviously trying to kill this franchise, and I heard they were making a movie, and there was
Why
other
not?
other
Featuring
stuff.
Jack Nicholson
I think this is done.
as Crypto.
What are you going to give Destroy All Humans: Path of the Furon? Arguably one of the most disappointing games I've played in the last few years. What are you going to give this game?
I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
5. Wow, I'm not even giving it that. 3.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Abysmal. Bury it. All right, let's get in a better mood and talk about some hardware that you can use on the.
Tired of crap games.
Yeah, you can use on the.
Make me mad.
See, this is more fun than the game.
I know.
Just have him follow you around for a bit, please. Please take him off my. Please have him follow you around, please. No, okay. We're talking about.
Why you gotta be like that?
I'm just kidding. I love you, Poops. All right. Okay, we're talking about the Peak Guitar. It's a full-size guitar to be used with Rock Band or Guitar Hero on the PS2 or PS3.
Yeah.
And it's heavy. What'd you think of this?
This
sucker?
thing is heavy on both the price tag and the weight limit.
Yes, it is. This
And
is
you
a
pull-
workout to play this
I mean, look
sucker.
at this thing.
It's a workout just
Rock
stretching
Band
your
built.
arm out that far to play with the.
Yeah. Well, luckily, since it's life size, they have the buttons down here. You can play that.
I
It's
was
like you're playing
doing
the regular guitar.
I was trying to play the regular thing up there, and then it was actually hurting my arm to stretch out
Yeah,
that
well, 'cause
much.
You got this little. You got
I
this
got the little Rex
Rex
arms. I know. I don't. Don't make fun of me like that. It's not cheap.
It's a workout.
You'll look authentic, but you'll also feel, I think, like a little more of a geek.
You'll look authentic playing Rock Band.
Yeah, it's a little...
I don't even think those go together.
And it's not like you can
feel
go on the
more
road
like
with
a
this.
real rocker. Just buy a real guitar.
Yes.
If you want the feeling for $150
Mega guitar.
and the hefty weight limits.
I sense a no. I sense an NR. The little mini guitar actually makes you feel cooler than this big mama in this situation.
Big Mama.
This big mama.
Mama Jama.
Yeah. 2 NRs for the peak guitar. Stick around. We have a massive versus after the break.
Oh, it's big, baby. You've been waiting for it.
Yes, all
I've
year
been waiting
long.
for it. Vic's been waiting for it.
2 years, actually. It's Gears of War 2 against Resistance 2.
Coltrane, baby. Woo!
Welcome back. We've got a pretty huge versus for. I don't think they get bigger than this.
One of the biggest verses of the year.
This is Rock Band Guitar Hero size. All right, we're talking about Resistance 2.
Gears of War 2.
Gears of War 2. These are the shooters that tore us up at E3. We couldn't decide which one we were going to like
Grinded
better.
right through us.
I actually thought that I was going to like Resistance 2 better. Did I?
Did
We'll
you?
find out.
We're going to find out when.
Right now.
Let's do that.
Graphics, how did they stack up?
Well,
Gears.
Gears of War 2,
Resistance, oh my
yes.
God.
Sorry, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the bosses in Resistance 2 are amazing.
It's a really good looking game, but I'll tell you what, as big and cool as the bosses are, the environments really disappointed me.
Yeah.
And I, honestly, there were elements of Resistance 2 that I think didn't look as good as the first game. Maybe it was because it was our first PlayStation 3 experience and it kind of opened your mind to this expansive console, you know, the power of that machine.
But you figure,
I expected so much out of Resistance 2.
especially with 2 years in between both games. I expected...
And it doesn't look bad.
It doesn't look bad at all, but compared to Gears, which is...
Or compared to Call of Duty last year, Resistance 2 doesn't look bad, and there's an epic kind of scope to the game in terms of bosses.
Your character looks good.
Yes.
The start screen is just your character looking badass.
Yeah. But Gears 2, absolutely heartbreakingly beautiful.
It lights the Molotov, throws it in Resistance face, and explodes.
It's unbelievable. Sorry. It is such a gorgeous game.
Better than you.
The snow falling down in the mountains.
The razor hail.
The razor hail. The color red is going to be a color that you're going to enjoy.
You're going to love it.
Many times in this beautiful looking game. Okay, graphics, Gears 2.
Gears 2.
Audio, we have, I think, these really well fleshed out voices and these characters in Gears 2. One of the little tricks that they put in there that I totally freaking loved was as you get some distance between your characters, it switches to kind of a crackle and it's coming inside of your headset.
It's harder to hear where the guy's at.
Resistance, I couldn't tell who the hell was talking. I didn't know if it was Nathan Hale. I didn't have any connection at all to the characters at all in that game.
Honestly,
they're all like the red shirts from Star Trek. No, it really feels like the Gears guys are like you've been allowed to join this kick-ass football squad that goes off and kills all.
Baby, former football. Woo!
And I love it. I love the sense of camaraderie and the comical lines that they get to say and
the lines. They're cheesy.
Yeah.
But they're so good. Like Coltrane, got to be one of my favorite characters in video games this year.
And even the kick-ass, anthemic, orchestral, bombastic score of Gears is better than the kind of wallpapery Resistance 2 music.
Yeah, it didn't really drag me into the experience.
So audio to Gears as well.
I'm gonna go right there.
Gameplay. Most important part.
Most important part. Guess who wins this?
Third person versus first person. So obviously they're different. One's got all about the cover mechanic, which we know. We talked about that in the last versus we did with these two. And it's a different style of game, but this is Sony's big gun against Microsoft's big gun.
And Microsoft's big gun has a chainsaw attached to it.
Yes, it does. The multiplayer, obviously, in Resistance 2 is incredible.
Here's my problem.
But there's some issues.
Here's my issue with this.
Yeah.
I'm online with my friends.
Yeah.
First off, the PlayStation headsets things, if you don't have one, you're kind of screwed. So we're all on Skype. And then we had a couple guys join. We'll send them an invite. Oh, I can't seem to join your game. Okay, it says no, I can't get onto it. Maybe it's just connection. Try to get a couple of them. Same problem.
Really?
Can't seem to get online with the game.
Yeah.
Once you get the 8-player co-op actually going, it's kind of fun. Like you get into it, it's addicting. You're just like, oh damn, there's all these guys coming.
But it's not the single-player story. Now, Gears, you have most of the same kinds of multiplayer options that you had from last year.
If you bought the game, it comes with all the downloadable levels from the first game.
And describe Horde. Horde is basically you against...
it's you, 4. You can have up to 5. You don't need 5. You can do it.
Mode.
Yeah, it's survival mode, but it's up to 50 levels. Every 10 levels, it gets harder from 1 to 10, and then it starts over, but the guys have more health, and they're more powerful. And it's just controlled chaos to the point of awesome, just radtaculousness. Radtaculousness.
So we both give Gears the winner. What are you going to give Gears of War 2?
10 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 9.5. And what are you going to give Resistance 2?
8 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 9. So there you go, the big shooter matchup of the year. We both like Gears better.
I love me some Gears.
Gears 2 is an amazing game.
Freaking amazing. You can find me online. We'll play Horde mode, 50 levels. We'll just do it.
That's where he's going to be right after this.
I gotta go.
Resistance 2 is a great game as well.
It is
Don't
good,
think it isn't.
But play Gears if you got a 3-star.
Got it. Today on the show, Jose and I took a look at Monster Lab. We always love original IP for the Wii and dig the Tim Burton-esque imaginative design, but there are some cumbersome controls and not too many people playing online. Alone in the Dark Inferno. This game definitely has some cool design elements and some of the control issues have been resolved, but it's still not the standout survival horror experience it should have been in the first place. And what was up with the crappy-looking cutscene video clips? Destroy All Humans, Path of the Furon. The idea of being an alien wreaking havoc on Earth will always be cool, but this game is atrociously bad and tarnishes the good memories of this franchise forever. In Versus, we took a look at Resistance 2. We love the expansive offering of gameplay modes, and the epic scope of the game is great, but the story doesn't hook us as much as Gears 2, and the online multiplayer, while terrific, just isn't quite as addictive. We looked at that one against Gears of War 2. Visually, this is one of the best-looking games we've ever played. The story is a blast, and multiplayer gameplay is sensational, but the killer ride definitely does feel familiar. In the end, Gears of War 2 wins our Versus and is the Rogers Video Game of the Week.